So I recently got a new home. Now, most people are excited about when they get a new home, a new kitchen, a dishwasher, maybe a walk-in closet. For me, I was excited about the garage. It's been a dream of mine to have a home gym where I can continue to train, do martial arts. I can have my buddies over, I can bring clients over as I've been doing more personal training and private training, and have everything I have here that I would normally have at my MMA gym. Now, as I've started this journey, building a home gym is a lot more difficult than I think most people think. It requires a lot of planning. So I want to bring you along so you can see some of the tips I have along the way, as well as any mistakes that I might have made, so that it can help you out with perhaps your own gym that you're building at home. So for today's video, we're going to talk about planning real quick. This is probably the most important step. Let's start with probably the most important thing about planning, which is going to be the mats. First thing you should do is measure out your mat space. Now for me, I've got this nice dividing line that is perfectly 10 feet from the wall to this line. And the mats I want to get are the roll-up mats made by Dolomer that are 5 by 10, which means they should end exactly right here, which will give me enough room to park in the other car. Also, they roll up, like I said, so if I want to bring in my other car as well, since I live in a state where it snows a lot, I can roll them up or pack up my gym, so to speak, and pull in my other car and not have to fumble around a whole lot. Another thing to think about is what's going to be between you and this, the concrete. So for me, I'm going to go to the Tractor Supply store and get some horse stall mats. It's just I don't want to say softer, because they're not really soft, but they're not concrete either. It's just a good kind of padding, I think, to have between the expensive roll-up mats and this. Plus, I'd rather roll out those mats onto these horse stall mats than the dirty garage floor. They're also a lot easier to clean than this is. If I do park my car in and perhaps it snowed and some slush leaks down onto the ground, all I need to do is take my hose, spray off the mats, and then let them dry. I'm pretty sure horse stall mats can get wet and they dry pretty easily. And the last thing is you'll just want to make sure that you have enough room to do everything you need to do. So 2 5 by 10 mats, that will give me a 10 by 10 space. That should be enough room for me to freely move around for striking, do some free rolling, and then maybe some light takedowns. So just a few things to think about there with the floor. I try to maximize as much space as possible by hanging stuff up on the wall. We'll talk about that in a second. Mat space is precious. I want to have as much mat space as I can, but without completely taking over my garage as well. Okay, next thing you're going to want to think about is any equipment that you're going to have in here. Where you're going to put it and spacing it out. So for me, that equipment is a pull-up bar with a double end bag hung to it, a heavy bag, a side mounting heavy bag, bob, and then all of the little crap, all the little gym equipment, holding mitts, Muay Thai pads, gloves, wraps, all of that crap, as well as any other gym exercise equipment that I use. There's a lot of crap. There's usually more than you think there's going to be, so you want to make sure that it all fits. So let's start if you're thinking about a pull-up bar. Now, you want to think about your ceiling. So for me, I happen to have some decently high ceilings in my garage. Now, to me, that's actually really important because one of my fitness goals is to be able to do muscle ups above the bar. So I have to make sure I can actually have the room between the ceiling and my head, or if you have a lower ceiling, make sure it's not so high that you can't even do a normal pull-up without hitting your head against it. And I'd rather mount onto the side than mount to the ceiling, especially this one. This is actually just HVAC right here. It's slightly lower than the rest of the garage ceiling, so I don't want to hang up anything in there. And I also really like having the pull-up bar there because I can put other things like the double end bag. I can loop Olympic rings around it, which replaces a lot of gym equipment. So for me, a pull-up bar is a must. Now, the Next biggest thing to think about is the heavy bag. The heavy bag is probably one of the biggest things you don't want to mess up. Putting a lot of holes, potentially big holes into your wall, so you don't want to have to constantly redo this over and over again. Now, something that you might not think about, especially if you want to have a gym that you can pack up, is having a heavy bag frame that can move. So if I put my heavy bag here, which is where I'd like to put it, kind of away from some of the equipment that I'm going to talk about, I'd like to put it here, that way I have 180 degrees of movement on my bag, and I can do everything I need to do in terms of striking there. However, having it here, if I go to roll up my mat, I'm not going to be able to roll it up all the way. It's going to get in the way, my bag's going to get in the way, and then I'm not going to be able to pull my cart in. However, they make these really cool heavy bag frames or hangers or mounts that you can pivot or swivel over to the side and push your heavy bag over. Bob is freestanding, so I can push him against the edge whenever I need to or drag him around. And then for any other gym equipment, I would recommend hanging it up. A lot of people get like the garage organizers and shelves, but I rather have a little bit more mat space. And then that way, all the other dumb stuff I have, like the jump box or the dip station, I can kind of push that over here to the side. Last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna hang up the very first piece of, not equipment, but decoration, I guess. So this is just something dumb. It's dumb. It's something dumb my buddies got for me a while ago, just about training and all that. So, you know, hang up something that's going to motivate you when you come in here. You know, this should be your sanctuary, bat cave, where you want to do all your training. So this is going to be the first thing that's going to go up. There we have it. Okay, that's everything for today. I'll continue to post more garage update videos as I continue to build it out. It'll probably take a little while, but make sure you subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out on any future videos with self-defense tips, principles, techniques, maybe this. And go ahead and leave a comment down below. Like this video if you so desire. This is Jordan with Be Ready Self-Defense. Train perfectly, fight ferociously, be ready.